Sandy, it says it's being recorded.
Yeah, I just got a message that says I've got limited space, so we may end up losing the recording midway through our program this evening. So Lisa is recording a backup. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate it. I've been working with this very odd issue on my computer now for the last several months, where something on the computer, mostly Google, is taking up space that nobody can find. So, at any rate, we will get you a recording because we have Lisa making us a backup. And so those of you who are here and are going to get to ask your questions, you are going to be able to access that afterwards. And of course, we have a lot of people who listen to these recordings after the show is done, and I wouldn't want them to miss a month. They would miss us. So, Lisa, thanks. I'm really grateful to you for being able to be my backup. Folks, I want to say thank you. It's really wonderful to see you all here. I'm excited about this evening. We're just moving into all kinds of new times, new energy, and it feels almost like we've run this race and we can now take a breath and we're coming out into the sunlight again. And it's really, really nice to be here with you this evening and embark upon this next part of our journey together. I have a few announcements that I'd like to make as we get started. First off, I'm going to start here over on the right. Please visit my website and you'll find out a whole lot more than what I can cover just in this little brief intro. The website's www.sandyanastasi.com. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for the free monthly newsletter. And I give you a little gift when you do that. And don't forget to sign up and download the app. And on the app, you can actually listen to the Psychic Hour. You can do all the things, as far as attending classes and just about everything there is on the app. So it's a really good little handy thing to have. And you can do that from any electronically internet-capable device. So this note, save the date. Our reunion is definitely scheduled. It's a reunion retreat, and it's going to be from September 30th to October 3rd in 2021. So it's going to come up before you know it, folks, right at the end of a beautiful, beautiful summer. And those of you who live up north will be delighted to know that at the end of September, our water is still swimmable down here on Sanibel Beach. So if you come down, bring your bathing suits. And I'm so hoping to see and meet so many of you that I meet on the Psychic Hour every month. And this would be a great opportunity for us to meet in person. We're going to have other speakers there. I'm beginning to get things lined up. Sharon is going to be there giving a talk. Beverly Frabel, who is a very, very wonderful tarot specialist, is going to be there giving a talk. And I'm trying to line up a few other people as well, in addition to myself. And I will be giving a talk as well as a messages session. And those of you who would like to see Sandy do a messages session, it's the only time that I do them is on cruises or on retreats, because usually I don't do the talk to dead people thing. I usually do the channel your guides thing, which is what we're going to be doing here this evening. Now, please, when you go to the website to sign up for the retreat is open. The sooner you sign up, the sooner you'll be guaranteed a room. The opening page right now is going to direct you to where you can go or call to contact the hotel to identify yourself as being with the psychic retreat with Sandy Anastasi, and you'll get a discount when you identify yourself and you book directly with the hotel. I don't get anything from that. The hotel gets that. There is, in addition to that, going to be a charge for the retreat itself. That's for the speakers and all the paraphernalia and the events and all the other things that go with it. And there is a link or a second page on the site that is using last year's prices. Please, please, please don't press that yet. We haven't updated it yet because I haven't been able to get everything together with all of the people at the hotel and all of the people I'm going to be having come in to give talks to know exactly how much I'm going to need to charge to cover my expenses at the retreat. And so don't sign up for the second part because we don't have that yet. Just go and book your hotel room. It is not too early to do that. And I'm hoping that by the time we get to June, I'm actually going to have that page completely updated from last year, or 2019, actually, it was 2 years ago, to the current costs for the retreat. Okay, so thank you very much for bearing with me. Another comment, post your thoughts in our open forum. Some of you are aware of this and some of you haven't tried it yet, but I now have forums, communities, if you will, on my website, www.sandyanastasi.com. One of those communities is an open forum where anybody, it's similar to Facebook, and anybody can go and post their thoughts or ask for help or do a reading or get a reading or give your insights or your feelings about something you're studying, or i.e. it is open. Your monitors are myself and my assistant Lisa, and we're not going to have anybody who's throwing you out because they don't like the color of your hair or the fact that you have spoken a word or something like that they don't like. Okay, so now we might not like you to get on there and cause arguments and fights and things like that, but we're also not going to throw you off the forum. So be advised, it's a really nice place to share in the metaphysical community without fear of being censored. Okay. VIPs, I know I have a lot of you on here with me this evening. Our next coaching call will be June 24th. So it's really at the end of the month in June. And while I'm talking to the VIPs, please, when you go and you join in, to take your next class, because we have over 200 classes right now listed in the VIP. It's literally a college education in metaphysics, all for the cost of $20 a month or $197 a year. It's incredibly inexpensive for what you get. Please, while you're on there, VIPs, and if you haven't been there for a while, do go on there. Check out all the new offerings. The entire astrology program, which literally is a college degree in astrology. The entire program, with the exception of 2 video courses, which I offer separately on the front of the site. But in the VIP, the whole, it's a year and a half, if you study it from start to finish, worth of classes that are in that VIP area in astrology. So if astrology is your thing, folks, you're not going to find something better at any price, let alone this price. Our next psychic hour, please, everyone here, make a note of it. It's June 27th of 2021. And so we're going to have our next psychic hour way at the end of the month, just in time to take a good look at what's coming for us in July. And while I'm talking about what's coming for us, bear in mind that we have a lunar eclipse that's going to be happening on Tuesday. So, folks, you should be keeping a diary. I don't know if you're aware of that, but eclipses herald things to come. And anytime there are a series of eclipses, there are always a lunar and a solar. Sometimes there's a solar and 2 lunars. Once in a blue moon, that's supposed to be funny. Once in a long shot, once in a long while, there are 2 solars and up to 3 lunars. So eclipse cycles are usually just 1 solar and 1 lunar, but there can be more eclipses which lengthen the cycle. This time there's going to be 1 solar and 1 lunar. The lunar is on Tuesday, and the solar is, I think, June 12th. It's the beginning of June. And guess what? You start to keep a diary 2 weeks before the first eclipse. So you need to go back 2 weeks from Tuesday and start a diary and continue it all the way through to about June 26th or 7th, 2 weeks after the second eclipse. So you, in total, got, in this case, a 6-week long journal. Now, why do you want to keep that journal? Keep it of all the unusual occurrences, suggestions, dreams, feelings, people you meet, experiences you have, things that are out of your normal routine. Because those are going to be indicators of new things that are coming into your life, if you allow them to, within the next 6 months. Also, while you're keeping your eclipse journal, you're going to be getting insights into how you're going to be relating to people over the next 6 months, which will give you some really good ideas about what choices and decisions might be smart to make, especially if those people are involved. For example, if you have a girlfriend right now who is really talking behind your back to other people, and you kind of find out about it and you're not really happy about it, and you're thinking about writing her off, and that's happening during the time of your eclipse journal. But then the journal ends, we get into July, and you and that gal become buddy-buddy again, all is well, and you are having a great time with her. September comes around, and that girl says to you, you know, I'm really thinking of moving out of this job that I'm in and starting my own business. And I was wondering if you would like to come and work with me, or even better still, be my business partner. Well, if you look back at your journal and you remember that it was back during June when you journaled all these things this woman was saying behind your back, you're going to think twice about going into business with her or even working for her. You see how that works? So that journal is very, very important. Not only does it show you what's coming in the next 6 months, but it's also going to show you little things that are going to help you to make better decisions about your future over the next 6 months. Sometimes it can be life-changing choices and decisions, and it will help you to make more educated and better ones. So keep your eclipse journal, very important. Okay, let's move over to the left side of my screen here, on the other side of this horary chart, which is going to help us with tonight's readings. My specials that I offer each month. This month I'm offering a reading special called Moving Forward, Turn Chaos into Order. You can order that reading special. It's only $195, but it must be ordered through Lisa, okay? Not ordered. You can go onto the website and click on any one of my targeted readings. They're listed for $250. Click on any one of them, but find out what it is you want to, to get first. Click on it. Now you've got to tell Lisa when you, and you're going to get a special code for this month's reading that tells you that you've got to put that code in to get the $195 discount. If I'm confusing you or you have any question about that, contact Lisa directly at lisasainc@aol.com, and she'll tell you how to get that. The thing is, you're going to get almost a 20% discount on this. It brings the $250 reading down to $195. It's a future-oriented reading, and the focus of this reading is how to take the chaos that's in your mind, the confusion that's in your mind, and turn it into order so that you really know step by step how you want to move forward into all the important things in your life right now, okay? So this is to help you get a better handle on the future for you, okay? The second special is, again, I'm continuing this from last month. I'm still offering $100 off my Kabbalah Pathworking for early enrollment. That discount's only going to go halfway through June, though. It ends June 16th. If you want to know more about the Kabbalah and also get a free intro lesson, you can go to this link that I've got here, and you're going to get your free lesson, and it's going to put you into a funnel that's going to give you more information about the Kabbalah. So a lot of you are going to want to do that just because you get that free whole first chapter of my book, actually, which really gives you an enormous oversight of what the Kabbalah itself is. Okay, but do this. If you're interested even remotely in your own spiritual development, you can't find a better place or a better way to step forward and evolve. So check this out. I also have a free live webinar about what is the Kabbalah, what is Pathworking on June 9th. And I have a link to that. So please come to that. It's going to be an hour to an hour and a half class. Come to that free live webinar. You're going to be so glad that you did. You're going to have a much better understanding of what the Kabbalah is and why it is such a good tool to lift your awareness in every way possible. and really step into a better life for yourself and your family and loved ones. My Kabbalah Pathworking Live class, folks, is going to start July 7th. And like I said, the early enrollment period stops June 16th. So if you want that $100 discount, enroll now. If you're sitting on the fence, enroll now. Make sure you come to that seminar on July or June 9th, especially if you're sitting on the fence, so that you understand more about it, so that you can get that $100 off if you really want to be part. Okay, I'm done. Let me give you an overview of tonight. Folks, I'm probably not going to get to read all of you. You folks know that. If you're on here until the end of the session this evening and I didn't get a chance to answer your question and you've got your hand raised, well, send an email through either to me at the email on this forum or to lisasainc@aol.com. That'll still find me, and I will be glad to answer your one question. Please don't expect it to happen immediately, though. I get really swamped with questions, and it does take me a while to go through them, but I do get to them. So now that has to reach me, that question, anytime before 9 p.m. tomorrow evening. After that is my cutoff. Now, how to do tonight? Each person who gets called on, and Lisa's going to be calling on you. She's the one who kind of makes the decisions, and she usually calls on people who are new to this or who haven't had their question asked in a long time. Now, the first thing I want from you is your first name only. Where you're calling from is the second thing. I'd like to know what you're most grateful about tonight, right now. So those 3 pieces of information. Then I would like your sun sign, because with your sun sign from this horary chart, which is a throwaway chart just for the people on this seminar right now, with your sun sign, I can give a lot of information as to what's going on for everybody who's of that sign or the same energy, the same modality, the same element. And then I would like your simple question, or your question that is most on your mind right now. Okay, let's get started. Raise your hand, folks. If you want to put your question into the chat room, you can also do that. Lisa can read it out for you. Lisa, who's our first victim?
Alrighty, our first person tonight is going to be Stacy. Stacy, can you unmute? Stacy, it says you're self-muted. Can you unmute? There you go.
There, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. You wanted my son, I'm in Buffalo, Minnesota. My sun sign is Libra. I'm grateful for my family and their health. And I just want to know what my guides, if they have anything, my guides or my loved ones that I need to know about.
Okay, let's go for it then. Stacy, first off, let me tell you, I'm very grateful that you and your loved ones are also staying healthy. And I'm also grateful that the weather is getting nicer up there in Minnesota because you guys need it. Okay, you've got to come to Florida for our retreat in the fall. That way you'll have this memory of warmth as you go into one of those Minnesota winters again. Guess what? The 11th house is where we find Libra in our horary chart this evening. And the 11th house is about your friends and sometimes your children, like if you have more than one child. It's also most important of all, it's about how we give love to others, how we reach out to others. And here is the moon, which is our emotions, and it's in Libra, which is the sign that rules all relationships. So, Stacy, as a Libra, and especially with so much energy in the element of air that goes with this, because this is an air house as well, you've got a lot of social activities and people and issues and things with people in your mind right now. You're, as always, being the liaison, the diplomat, the person who's bringing peace and helping all the people around you. But more importantly, this is a time when you're pretty much reaching out to people and saying, well, how can I give my love to that person? How can I affect that person in a positive way? How can I influence that person in a way that's going to bring happiness to them and to their loved ones? So this is a real important time for you in terms of evaluating all of your relationships, but especially your friendships and especially your relationships with your children. And I should add your significant other as well. But there's a lot of relationship evaluation going on here. Now, since this is a cardinal sign, Libra is cardinal, we're also going to look at the squares to that, which are the other cardinal signs. So here's Mars. So there's a lot of stuff going on financially, and there's a lot of stuff going on with your second child if you have children, and there's a lot of stuff going on with other people's families that are interfering with your personal stuff. And guess what? Everybody seems to have financial issues connected to their family, connected to their relationship partner, that they're all trying to solve. You may also be trying to solve some of these problems, but you're also being the person who has to try and help other people solve theirs. I don't know how you feel about that, but that can be, it can be kind of a responsibility you don't want. Now, we also have a square between the moon and Pluto in Capricorn. And so you are finding yourself being placed in situations where you're being, get this is important, you're being asked to take responsibility over things that you have no control over. Now, that's primarily happening at home, but it might also be happening on the work front. And it's been my experience in life in general that the worst place you can possibly be is being put in charge of something and being responsible for something and being the guy, or the woman in this case, who's going to take all the hits, that the repercussions that come back if things fail or don't work out. And you've got no direct control over the situation. So you end up being the liaison, you end up being the person who is sweet talking or covering up or, and if you're not careful, this can give you ulcers, my friend. Now, guess what? You recognize this because we also have an opposition to that moon, and this is Chiron, the healing planetoid. It's in Aries. So if you have children, your oldest child's telling you this. If you're in a relationship or your romantic partner's telling this, if you are just all by yourself, you're getting all kinds of feedback from the world in general that says, girl, it's all fine and wonderful for you to want to help people and make them happy. But right now, you've got to put yourself first. You've got to look out for number one so that you can remain healthy and solid and strong and continue to give the love and support and help to others that you love to give. So somehow you've got to figure out how to not be the person who's bearing that responsibility that you do not have control over. Okay? Stacy, do I need to give you an example of that, or did you get the message?
No, I'm getting the message loud and clear. Yep. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So there's the message for you from your guides. So thank you for asking that question, because that's big. And I want to say thank you for asking that question. It's a great lead into this evening, because if you are, folks, listening to this and you're one of the cardinal signs, that would be Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, or Aries, in some way, you've got the same issues going on in your life that Stacy has going on in hers. Now, Stacy's are going to be more focused on her relationships because she is a Libra. And that can be really sticky because, your heart goes out to everybody. You want to fix them all, right? But if you're a Capricorn, it's going to be about your pride and the fact that people have given you responsibility that they know only you can handle. And if you take that on, you're going to be in that same position of being stuck in the middle. And if you are a Cancer, it's going to be about people wanting money or wanting support or wanting nurturance from you that in some way takes away from what you have for yourself and your own immediate family. And if you're in Aries, you're really learning the lesson right now of standing on your own 2 feet and speaking up for yourself and saying, you know, I've worked a long time for this. I'm not going to give it away. Okay? So there's a very fine line, very, very fine line, because all 4 of those signs want to help people, want to reach out, want to be the person who is giving support and stability to the world around them. But you're learning an important lesson of not having the situation where you are giving that away as fast as it comes into you. You've got to have the assets. You've got to have the health. You've got to have the stability in your own life before you can give it away to somebody else. What a lesson. Big, big, big lessons right there. Hard for you guys. But you're doing it. Stacy, did that get it for you? Or do you want to have another question there to expand on this?
No, that did it. That explained everything that I'm going through, and it really, yeah, helped dial down what I need to focus my energies on. So thank you.
Awesome. Good girl. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Happy eclipse time.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And who's next on our list, Lisa?
All right, the second person up tonight is going to be Corinna. And it says yourself muted. There you go.
How's that? Yes, I'm Karina Sander. I'm from the southern Kansas City area, and I am grateful for my son graduating. He just graduated yesterday, so I'm glad that he graduated and on his way to manhood. And I am a Sagittarius.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. So my question, I guess, is like I feel like I am pulled in multiple directions all of the time, and I have a hard time focusing on what my strongest clair is. So my question to you is, where do you think that I should focus, and which clair is my strongest?
Oh, isn't that cool? I love that question. Well, first off, you know, you're not going to be altogether happy with me, Stacy, but here's your son is connected to this first house. Okay, it's not surprising
Okay.
I'm interested in all the clairs and psychic things because this house has a Scorpio on the cusp of it, and Scorpio is all about things in metaphysics. Okay, and the South Node in this chart is in Sagittarius, and so guess what? You are, you know, you're the chronic learner, and that's one of the reasons why you have trouble staying focused. I hope you understand that. You want to learn and study and understand every single thing you see, every single thing you hear about. You see a smash of it on TV, it interests you. You want to learn more about it, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Not if you're a Sagittarian, okay? Now, yes, you need to be able to pin it down and focus enough to be able to do a job and earn money and make sure that, you know, your son graduates from high school. So obviously, as we move through life, you have to be able to focus on some things. But the thing is that as a Sagittarian, one of your big jobs in being here in the physical plane is to learn and to grow and to share with others what you know. Okay? Now, there's an interesting combination here because we have a Scorpio fixed sign on the cusp of this house that has Sagittarius in it. That does tell me that even though you have the Sagittarius mental movement, wanting to study everything, you also do have the ability to follow things through to conclusion and completion. So please don't sell yourself short. You really do have that skill and ability. And what I see here is that you would love to take your developing psychic skills and bridge them into something that you could make money with. Now you're seeing skill here that really has the potential to be developed in a big way, and you could make money with it. Am I wrong?
Okay.
Not wrong.
No.
Okay. Or at least my guides are right. Now, thinking that in mind, you did ask me what's your strongest player, but I'm going to address the money issue first.
Okay.
My friend, well, first of all, your strongest player, sorry, I was going to address the money issue. My guides are going straight to the player. Your strongest player is clairvoyance, and you already know that. Okay? You didn't have to ask me that. Okay? And
Okay.
it's just for the record. Matter of fact, in my news, right on my website, there's information for my coming up newsletter should already be written out on my website. I've got a whole psychic development tip on clairvoyance. So go read that because that gives you lots of information. The thing is that your clairvoyance is already very well developed. You are just unaware of how you're already using it. And anything which is visual, clairvoyance is clear seeing, folks, for those of you who don't know what the different clairs are. Clairvoyance means clear vision, opening of the third eye and seeing things. But it's far more than seeing spirits or seeing, things that aren't there. Clairvoyance is it's being able to see additional expressions on someone's face that other people wouldn't even perceive. It's the ability to see depth and dimension in the world around you. It's the ability to see colors more vibrantly. Literally, somebody whose clairvoyance is highly developed doesn't see the same world as somebody who doesn't have that skill yet developed. We all have it, folks. We just don't all have it developed. So, clairvoyance is your strongest skill. You've already got it. You need to pay more attention to what you already got. Then you've got to figure out how to develop it well. And that's why my guides wanted to mention that first, because it ties right back into what you could do to make money. And what I'm going to tell you, although I really want to push my psychic development classes and say, take Sandy's psychic development classes, because the Anastasi system of psychic development, from my perspective, is the best way in the world to develop your psychic skills. However, if you want to make money using your psychic abilities, the quickest thing to develop is studying the tarot, which you can also do on my website. Last month I ran a special on it. I'm not running that anymore, but the program is still available, always is. And if you don't study it with me, buy a book on it. If you don't study it in person with somebody, then with me online or with my pre-recorded classes online, and find a local place that's teaching it. The thing is, study the tarot. My guides are saying you've looked at it, but you haven't really, okay? Why am I saying you should study the tarot is because you can learn the tarot well enough to start doing psychic fairs at a New Age store or even online or for friends. And you can learn that within a couple of weeks. You can get yourself started. It can be fast. Now, are you going to be super duper wonderful at it in 2 weeks? No. Give that some years to become really good. But what happens is that like attracts like. And if you're a beginning level reader, you're going to be attracting a beginning level client. Guess what? In the way the universe works, you always attract to help the person you're capable of helping. Now, you should learn the tarot with your brain. Card A means this, card B means this. Together they mean this third meaning, because that's the simplest way to learn them, and it helps you to develop protection while you're learning the cards. However, you're going to pick those cards up, and you're going to see things in those cards that aren't written in anybody's book anywhere. And you're going to be able to read those cards clairvoyantly because you see things that other people don't see. Am I making sense, Stacy?
It's Karina. Yes, you are.
Oh,
Yes.
Stacy was my last person. Corinne.
Yes, it's okay. I am a very visual person, so I will sit down and just look at something, and I don't know, it kind of comes apart and comes back together for me. So that makes sense that is my strongest, and I guess I always did know it. I just needed my life is so hectic that sometimes I just need a little more direction and somebody to sit me down and say, this is where you need to go. So it does make a lot.
And right now, you are looking for something other than the work that you're doing. You are looking for something that's going to give you something to fall back on and make a little money with, and maybe develop into something more at some point. And the fastest way to get there is going to be working with the tarot. There really is, I don't think there is a faster way, because you can develop expertise with that very, very quickly. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not saying that, by the way, just because I want you to take advantage of people. Wow, I'm flashing cards, I can be a psychic. The tarot actually teaches you to develop your psychic ability. Isn't that interesting? So check it out, because I think it's going to be a real a game changer for you. Now,
I will.
just taking a couple of moments here to look at those mutable signs, though. The eclipses that I mentioned before are happening in these mutable signs, okay? The one that's just coming up is in Gemini, and the next one after that is in Sagittarius. So guess what? This axis in this chart, which is all about self, this is the first house, and everybody else, all one-on-one relationships, which is the seventh house, that axis is being activated for every single person on this call, but most especially for people who are mutable signs. Those are the Geminis, the Virgos, the Pisceans, and the Sagittarians. So expect that right now, under this eclipse pattern, the things you're going to be having to make the most crucial decisions about have to do with people. And I didn't even get into that with you, Stacy, but there's a person you're going to have to walk away from soon. Okay? You already know that. All of your mutable signs are having to make decisions and choices about who's staying in your life and who's leaving your life. And some of those people might be leaving of their own volition, i.e., your son might, after graduation, decide he wants to go away to college. Okay? So these things are coming up in your life within the next 6 months, and you're getting glimpses into them right now. Okay, so pay attention. Pay lots of attention. Okay. Who's our next caller? And thank you so much, Corinne, I keep calling you Stacy. I don't know why I do that. Corinne, I've got you now. Have a wonderful, wonderful experience with whatever you're celebrating for your son's graduation. This is very, very special. You have a crowd of people behind you. I guess you've got a lot of people who passed, because there's a crowd of people around you, dead relatives, who are just cheering. They think that, they see this as your accomplishment as much as his. They're thrilled to death that he's graduated. They're all behind him. This is special. Please tell him that. Share him. Who's next, Lisa?
Okay, our third person tonight is going to be Candy.
Hello,
Candy, unmute. Candy, can you unmute your mic? No, we may have to move on to the next one and
Okay.
try Candy again later.
Now, I have a little bit of information I've just picked.
Oh, there she is. Wait, she just popped on.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I was trying so hard to unmute myself. I didn't see the little screen that said accept. Okay, never mind. It's one of those days. Hi, Sandy. Thank you for taking my question.
You're welcome. Candy, what's your sign and where are you from?
We're in Southern California. My sign is Aquarius and my husband is Taurus, because it kind of goes with both of us. And the thing I'm so happy about is tonight we're actually having dinner with some friends of ours, and my husband is entertaining, so I can be here with you.
Now, that's what I call a good husband. Tell him I said thanks. That's really very nice.
I will. Thank you. Sandy, we've been working on building our dream home, or starting on, trying the concept and everything. We've had the concept for a while now. It's actually been 8 years.
Wow.
I'm wondering if you see this project's ever going to break ground.
Well, I do think it will. I think it's going to break ground in July. I think it's sooner than you think. So there's a quick answer to your question. But I also want to take a look at Aquarius and Taurus and Scorpio and Leo right now. Here's Aquarius down here in the third house and crosses over the bottom of the chart. It's the incoming energy for this fall and for everybody's life right now. And about half of this fourth house, that's the home, is taken up by Aquarius, and there's little Jupiter that says, yes, there's a move. I don't know what's been holding it back. I suspect it's been the government, the town, the plans. Okay, let's look at it, send it back. Let's look at it, let's dot this side, send it back. I have a feeling that's what you've been going through for 8 years. It feels like it's ending now. And it may be that you are going to say, okay, it doesn't have to be any more perfect than it is. Let's do it. Okay. And I think once the cork comes out of the bottle, this thing is going to take off like you wouldn't believe. Something interesting happens with things that we put that amount of energy into. When we finally let go, it's literally like letting go of the rubber band. We're pulling it back, or the arrow from the archer's bow. You pull it back, you pull it back, you pull it back, you pull it back, you pull it back. All this time, you let it go a little bit, and then no, we're not done yet. You pull it back, you pull it back. You see what's happening? You're loading that bow. When that bow finally lets go, oh my God, you are going to be amazed. This dream home is going to be a heck of a lot more than you anticipated. And that's as much as I can possibly say. But the dream home might involve extra stories, and it might involve extra people living with you. It might involve bigger land. It might involve 2 or 3 houses. This one might be the beginning. There might be ones down the road. When you load the dream this way, you always end up with a whole lot more than you bargained for. So have fun. Okay?
Sandy, geez, I don't know if I wanted to start now.
It's going to be interesting.
Yes.
I also picked up some cards for you. I see you very happy. I see this. I see somebody coming into your life with an offer. I'm going to assume it has to do with this. Let's get it started. I also see a decision that has to be made. Something has to be unloaded before this thing can occur. And you already know what that is. Okay?
Okay.
I think that you've already made the decision to unload it. There was a time when you couldn't because you were too attached. Now you're ready. Folks, if you are a fixed sign as well, either an Aquarius, a Taurus, a Scorpio, or a Leo, you're also going through, do I want to travel? Do I want to relocate? Do I want to have more than one home? Do I want to move somebody in with me? Do I want to move somebody out with me? For example, I have a good friend who's a Leo who has just, this is kind of interesting the way things work, because she held on to a very large 4-bedroom home for many, many years, hoping that her family, who was in a different state, would decide to use her house here in Florida as a wonderful place to come visit, and they never did. And so she has now sold the house and moved into a tiny little 1-bedroom condominium that's really going to be a relief to her and easy to take care of. So you see, she's moved into something where she's downsizing. And what's interesting is, remember, she, like you, planned this for about 8 years. And now that she's let it go, I bet you her family's going to come and visit every month. It's going to be amazing. So
funny you said that, because the project is bigger than I want it, and I keep focusing on what I'm calling my reading room. That's got my couch, my work table, and I feel like I'm going to be living in this room while my husband's got this house that he made for us. So that's interesting.
You're going to have fun. And folks, on some level, every single one of you fixed sign people are moving in this same direction. It's going to be really interesting to see what you manifest, because you're in the process of really exploding your dreams into manifestation. And I can't wait to see what it's going to be like. So good luck to you. Have fun. Share it with us. Put pictures online.
I'll do it. Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome. And Lisa, who's next?
All righty, our next person is going to be Jennifer. Jennifer, can you unmute?
Hi, Sandy. It's Jennifer from California.
Hey, Jennifer.
I'm a Leo. Hi. I'm most grateful for my wife. And I just wanted to see if my guides had anything they wanted me to know.
Well, first off, you've got worries. I don't know why, because I don't feel like you should have them, but you've got a lot of worries about finances. Maybe you're feeling like I want to contribute more. You know, these worries are around you, but it doesn't feel like you should have those worries, but you do. I also see worries. You're a worrier. I also see worries about an older woman around you. That could be your mother's or your wife's mother. Apparently, there's been some health problems with that person, and you're really worrying about what's going to come next. So you want to kind of plan her life out for her. Remember what I said to our first caller. Please be wary of putting yourself in a position where you're responsible for things you don't have direct control over. Okay? And I'm saying that primarily towards this older woman I see around you with health issues. Okay? If you don't have direct control, limit the responsibility, or you may be sorry at a later date. Okay? Now, back to you. Here you are, most of this ninth house, which is about travel and relocation and having fun, and the sign that's on the cusp of the 10th house, which is your career and the way the world's going to see you going forward, well, that's Leo. So this makes it apparent to me that you're making a change. It feels more like a change in job, or a change perhaps in what you're doing on your job, that might involve travel or relocating or just going away to school or doing some things on the internet. But you follow distance is involved with this shift that's going to be happening in your career. So if you're thinking of making that, the timing is right to do it. Keep your eclipse diary, because that's going to give you a lot of opportunities that are coming to you. And please be aware that the universe is, as soon as you decide this is what I want, the universe is going to bring you a lot of opportunities that will line up what you want. You follow? You have been afraid
Yes.
to focus on what you want. That's why it hasn't manifested yet. Okay?
Right.
You keep being fearful of stepping on other people's feet because you're afraid, it could be your wife's, you're afraid that what you want may not fit in with what she wants. So, you know, what is the issue really here? You have a right to want what you want. And part of being in a relationship is that you both are allowed to want what you want, and then together you manage your lives so that both of you can have and experience what you want, even if it means taking turns. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. And folks, if you're a fixed sign, if you're Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, you're having those same issues in your life right now. Did that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Lisa, who's next?
Alrighty, your next person is going to be Heather. Heather, can you unmute?
Hello,
Hi, Heather.
can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm Heather. I'm from New England. I'm a Virgo, and I'm very thankful for my dog.
Oh, me too. We share dogs. I was, not last night, but the night before, I was up all night long because my little Maya was in labor all night long. And it wasn't until about 5 o'clock the following night that she finally delivered 5 puppies. We have 5 little Pekingese running around right now. They're not running around. They're presently about that big, and they're all nursing. But they're all healthy.
Aw,
So I love
congratulations.
to do. Yep. What kind of dogs do you have?
I have an American Akita.
Oh God, they're beautiful. What pretty, pretty, pretty dogs. Okay. So
Thank you.
Virgo occupies most of this house of career, so I know that career is going to be largely on your mind. What do I want to really do that's going to set me free and let me do what I'm supposed to be here to do? But there's also like
Yep.
degrees into this house of friends. You might very well have a friend or somebody you're connected to that you used to work with who says, why don't you do this? Why don't you come here and try this with me? The thing is that you're not sure you want to do that either. but what it's doing is it's giving you this maybe a nudge to reevaluate what you're doing and is this where I really want to be. I think the problem with you and work is that when it's good, it's very, very good, but when it's bad, it's very, very bad. It seems to go through extremes. So let me ask you a question before you make the decision to ditch it and run. Is there anything that you could do to modify your behavior, i.e. how you respond to things at work, or what you allow yourself to get pulled into at work, that would stop it from going to those extremes?
That is definitely how I feel about corporate work, which I'm not doing. But I hated that. So I actually have two businesses. One is marketing and website design and copywriting, and the other one is spiritual healing, specifically for women survivors of narcissistic abuse. And any insight on that, or specifically, yeah, I don't know a good answer to your question.
I think the problem is that that the same issues, and this is one of my guides directed it towards the corporate thing, the same, because that's where the real money was in the corporate. But the same problems you had in the corporate are going to follow you into your other two businesses unless you resolve what's at the core of them. You follow? I.e. the reason
I
why.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, the reason why well, let me just tell you about Virgo. Virgo is the extremist sign. Did you know that? Virgo,
Nope.
for example, if a Virgo goes on a diet, the Virgo stops eating. That's a little bit extreme, but maybe they eat one tiny little meal that's 300 calories a day. That's a Virgo diet. And then when they decide to go off the diet, they binge and eat everything in sight. Okay? Now I'm sure you can relate to that because it's probably happened at least once in your life. Okay? Virgo does things in extremes. It's part of the sign. So if you were experiencing that extreme situation in work, and it could have been relative to the people you work with, it could have been relative to the way the work itself went, it could have come from a lot of different causes, but the root cause is how do you react? What boundaries do you set?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now relating that, for example, to your website building business, and you've already started to see this. If you take on 20 clients at the same time, you have just pushed yourself into the extreme position. And yet that other part of you says, well, we're doing such and such. We need that money coming in now. I can't turn the business down. So you allow yourself to be pushed into, now do you see what I'm talking about? So,
Yep, and that.
right. So there is a real need here to look at how you work, how you like to work, what makes you happy when you work, and to set boundaries. And sometimes they can be very simple. Years back, I was married to a man who wasn't a Virgo, but he could have been a Virgo. And he had that same issue you're having right now. And he ended up hating his job. Every time he changed jobs, he ended up hating his job for the same reasons you do. And I said, well, why do you have to work a 5-day week? Why can't you work a 4-day week? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, if you work 2 hours extra each day, and you're already where you're working, so it's not a big deal, you can take an extra day off. You can have 4 days of work and 3 days off. Why don't you give it a shot? Guess what? He loved his job because he was no longer pushed over the edge. So sometimes the solution is a very easy solution, but you've got to step back and realize that somehow, relative to what you're doing, you've been pushed into overdue. And anytime you get pushed into overdoing it, you're eventually going to quit it because you hate it. Make sense?
So maybe putting up blocks against having clients, spiritual healing clients that are bad for me.
Yeah, exactly. allowing yourself to say, I don't have to do this client. I can recommend them to somebody else who could also serve them and maybe not be bothered by them.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have. Is it okay if I ask a question?
Yes. By the way,
Thank
your money will eventually come through the web work that you're doing, the work that you're doing with where your heart is, the work that you're doing there with helping the survivors. It's not going to build as fast or as big because many of those survivors do not have the finances to, to
Right.
and also you are going to find that these people don't want to recommend you because they don't want people to know that they're seeking help. And they don't
Right.
want people to, they certainly don't want to their persecutor to know that they are getting help. So
Right.
that has to be a business that you're doing out of love. It's not going to make you wealthy. Okay? At least not for a long time.
Okay. So I should, and because I am having major money issues. Like I'm not bringing any money in. So what I should do right now then is focus on the web design.
Yeah, and that's why my guys talked about the corporate thing. The problem with the corporate, which you could step back into tomorrow and make money with because you were good at it, the problem with the corporate wasn't the corporate. The problem with the corporate was you allowing yourself to be pushed into extremes.
Okay.
You became the workforce in the office. You became the person, everything for everybody, everybody's job, because you were the one who did it well and you didn't know how to say no.
Yeah, that particular corporate one was if something was going to work, all these different pieces had to be put together. But okay, so what can I do to bring in the web clients, because that's an issue.
Well, for you, the quick money, if you really, my guys say you don't really need what you think you need, okay? But if you really need it, the quick money is going to be stepping back into that corporate job. And it doesn't have to be permanent, and it doesn't have to be the same job. And you could take it for 6 months or a year until you get your web work job off the ground. Or you could step into a corporate job doing web work. Which would
Okay.
give you more time and energy to put into developing your own business in the healing area. And then you wouldn't have to make an arm and a leg at it. Now, what
Okay.
I'm doing is I'm not telling you what to do here. My guides are wanting to show you how, this is again a Virgo thing. You tend to get television. My guides are wanting you to step into a different point of view and see it from a different angle and realize, oh my God, there are so many options here because I'm multi-talented. I have so many things I could be doing to make money while I'm building what I want.
I hear that. I love that. What the heck should I do? And I do need it. I do need money like now.
Yeah, you do. But the thing is that this is another one of those extremes, and you are going to need to examine that. And folks, this sounds like I'm specifically talking to her, and I am, but this is pertinent to all of you mutable and fixed sign people. Okay, we'll go through the same issue here. What's happening is that the wake-up call is here. You can't look, when you're building a business, you can't look at what you are building as, wow, this is going to pay my income. You've got to have your income established and taken care of you while you build the business, because the business is like a baby. It needs to be cared for. It doesn't immediately support you. Okay? That's a very important thing to keep in mind, because a whole lot of you are moving into developing your own businesses right now. Some of you don't even know you're building your own business, but you are. And it will take care of you in the future, but until it does, you need income coming from someplace else that will. That could come through your life partner. It could come through a stable, I call them junk jobs, whether they make you a lot of money or not. It's a junk job, but the income's got to come through something else initially. And the other side of this is look at how you spend, because what my guides are telling me is that Again, this has to do with your Virgo extremism. And all of us mutable signs, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgos, and Pisces, we all have this tendency to throw ourselves 100% into something and forget everything else. That's an extreme way of responding in life. So if I throw a bunch of money into something that I'm building, that's going to create a deficit over here in my life. And now I'm going to have to really work hard to build that, to replace those funds that are now missing. So I work really hard to do that. And for just a moment, I can take a breath. But then the next thing you know, I'm diving 100% into something else, whether it's somebody who needs me, that needs a loan, or whether it's something that I'm building or creating, often for someone else, because we love to do things for other people. If we do it in an unbalanced way, we're going to end up in a financial hole that we have to climb back out again. See, my guide is saying you're going to keep repeating this. I think of it as the rat on the wheel. You're going to keep repeating the cycle until you change the patterns that put you there. And I'm not just pointing the finger at you. I'm pointing that finger at all of us, because me too. I'm a mutable sign too. Okay? All of us are going through this right now. Is this helping a little, teeny bit?
It's a little bit, except that like I'm not throwing money at anything because I don't have any.
No, but you did. You did. When you had the corporate job that was bringing in the consistent money, before you left it, what should you have done?
Had another job lined up.
Yeah, or at least built a nest egg. Yeah, okay. So,
Yeah, but I mean, when I say corporate job, I wasn't making corporate money. I was doing corporate work, but I was making 35,000, which, you know, in some cases is like a really good thing, but it really wasn't enough to save or do anything.
but in a different state, working for a different employer, you could have been making more money, or you could have been putting money aside because cost of living was cheaper. My point is, and this is what I want to leave you with, is that when you have a problem, instead of being overwhelmed by all the things you cannot do and cannot achieve, step aside from the problem, get a new angle on it, and have in your mind what you want. What is your goal? Is your goal to have more money? Is your goal to build the next business? Is your goal to be happy in the job? And separate those goals. They're separate. And relative to each one of those goals, when you hold it in your mind, you're going to be able to see which trees in that forest that's overwhelming you need to be chopped first. Don't be overwhelmed for the forest. Is this making any sense? Chop trees. Decide what you want and chop trees until you have a path through the forest to get where you want to go. Now, my guides I'm going to go back with what they said. They didn't address the two loves that you have. They didn't address the web work, because even though you're good at it, there's a lot of competition out there, and it requires marketing skills. It requires tons of hours to develop those clients, and you need the money right now. You have the capability to build a very lucrative business there, but you don't bring the money in from that business tomorrow. The other business that's helping people who had difficult relationships is never going to make you the money that you need until you write a book about it, which is ways down the line. So the only way that you're going to get the money that's going to pay these bills you've got coming in is to get that corporate work. And here's your opportunity to use your corporate background to land a job that's got promise and potential. And going forward, you don't work for free anymore. And you don't stay after hours and do everybody else's job just because you want to be liked. You do the work and you do it intelligently. And you make sure that you're getting paid for what you're doing. And you look at what happened earlier where you felt taken advantage of, not as, oh, poor me, that was terrible and horrible. You look at it as, that was a really great experience because now I know how to handle the corporate world. And I have a whole lot to offer. And I can do so many jobs and I have so many skills and I can move to the top because I no longer give it away. I now know how to set boundaries. And folks, I hope you
Okay.
because whether you're a Gemini, a Sag, a Virgo, or a Pisces, this is your experience. You're having this experience. If you're not having it now, you had it recently. And here's your opportunity to learn how to set boundaries and say no. Okay?
Yes, thank you. So the book, the only way that would make that profitable would be to write a book. Is this something that I've already started or something different?
It could be something you've already started. It could be something
Okay.
you've already started, or it could be something different, or it could be both. The thing is,
Okay.
you can't identify your clients. You can't get your clients to step forward and say, wow, this woman is wonderful. So you've got to put a book together or reports together and you change all the names and you change the scenarios and circumstances, and then you can develop a name for what you're doing. But you can't tell people who they are. Okay?
I'm sorry, I can't tell people what.
You can't tell people who your clients are. And
Right.
I would love to speak more with you. And we've covered a lot of ground. And I want people on the call to know I spent extra time with you. I spent that time with you because your issues, even though they seem like they're yours alone, they're not. Those issues belong to everyone who's on the call with us tonight. This is huge. Everybody here has got these same questions. So I thank you very much for asking them.
Thank you.
Light. That's a big help. Okay. I have a feeling you go through life like that, where your issues end up being kind of a microcosmic look at the bigger world. When you step back, it's like, wow, so many people have these things going on. Okay. And you're a helper. You just have to find the best way to help people and get paid while you do it. That's part of your life experience. Okay. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you very much.
welcome. Folks, I want to remind you, our time tonight together is done, but I want to remind you that if you didn't get your question answered in tonight's class or seminar, webinar, write me a single question, simple. Make sure you include your name, where you're from, what you're grateful for, and your sun sign, and then your question. And I will be able to give you a pretty good answer to your question. And give me some time to answer it, okay? And that question needs to reach me by 9 p.m. tomorrow evening. And remember, that's only available to people who are actually on the call with me and have stayed through the end of the call, okay? So if you're just listening online, no, I'm not going to answer your question. And the way I think about this is what goes around comes around. Folks, you have spent all this time with me. I greatly appreciate it. I love you all. And I give back in return, I will answer that one question for you. Okay? And that, I'm saying that because our Virgo friend needs to see it in action. There's a balancing that must happen in order for you to continue to love what you do. It's just that simple. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. You're wonderful. All of you are. And I'll see you next month, June 27th. Good night. Thank you for joining me.